In 2008, a child vanished, quietly. There were no Amber Alerts, no frantic pleas on the news, no urgent search parties. For 31 days, 2-year-old Caylee Anthony was missing, and no one outside her family knew. Her mother, Casey Anthony, went on with her life. Casey didn't look panicked. She didn't look afraid. She smiled for photos. She went out with friends. She laughed. And while Caylee was nowhere to be found, Casey got a tattoo that read, Bella Vita, beautiful life. Casey Marie Anthony was raised in Orlando, Florida, in a household marked by tension and control. She lived with her parents, George and Cindy Anthony, and struggled with responsibility from a young age. Lying became a pattern, not dramatic at first, just small distortions of the truth that slowly grew larger. In 2005, she gave birth to Caylee Marie Anthony. Caylee quickly became the center of the household. Cindy often took on the role of caretaker, while Casey tried to maintain the image of a carefree young woman. Behind closed doors, arguments were frequent, about money, about independence, about control, about who was really raising Caylee. On June 16, 2008, Caylee was last seen alive. That day would later become the center of one of the most controversial criminal cases in American history. After June 16th, Caylee disappeared, but Casey said nothing. She didn't call police, she didn't tell friends, she didn't ask for help. Instead, she filled her days with distractions. She attended parties, she stayed with friends, she took photos, she appeared unbothered. When people asked about Caylee, Casey had answers ready. She said Caylee was with a nanny, a woman named Zenaida Gonzalez. She spoke the name with confidence, adding details, locations, and timelines. But when police looked closer, the story unraveled quickly. There was no nanny. There never had been. Casey also claimed she worked at Universal Studios. She led detectives through the building, navigating hallways as if she belonged there, until she stopped and admitted she had never worked there at all. The lies were calm, practiced, delivered without visible panic. On July 15, 2008, it was Casey's mother, Cindy, who finally called police. Her words were chilling. "I haven't seen my granddaughter in a month." When investigators searched the Anthony family car, they noticed a strong odor. Cindy later said it smelled like death. Casey dismissed it as garbage, but suspicion was already building. In December 2008, Caylee's remains were found in a wooded area less than a mile from the Anthony home. Her body was badly decomposed. Duct tape was discovered near the skull. A heart-shaped sticker was nearby. Because of the condition of the remains, the medical examiner could not determine an exact cause of death. No clear evidence stopped the questions. It only deepened them. Prosecutors believed Caylee had been murdered. They argued that Casey wanted freedom. Freedom from responsibility, from conflict, from a life she didn't want. And in their theory, Caylee became an obstacle. The defense told a very different story. They claimed Caylee's death was accidental, that Casey panicked, that she was afraid, not just of consequences, but of her family. They suggested years of dysfunction, control, and silence had shaped her behavior. The trial was broadcast to millions. Viewers watched Casey's expressions closely, her posture, her eyes, her reactions. Some saw grief buried deep, others saw detachment that felt unnatural. The courtroom became less about evidence and more about perception. In July 2011, the jury delivered its verdict. Not guilty. The reaction was immediate: shock, anger, disbelief. Many felt justice had failed. Others argued the prosecution simply hadn't proven its case beyond reasonable doubt. Casey Anthony walked free. Caylee Anthony did not. In the years since, the case has refused to fade. Interviews, documentaries, and renewed public interest continue to reopen the same questions. What really happened in those 31 days? Was the truth hidden by fear or by choice? And how does a child disappear while life goes on around her? The Casey Anthony case remains one of the darkest stories in true crime. not because of what we know, but because of what will likely never be answered. Some stories don't end with clarity, they end with silence,